What's up, everybody? Not exactly sure how to start this video. Maybe with welcome back to the channel. As you see, it's the morning where I am right now. I just finished watching Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3, and I apologize because I know this video will probably release in a few hours because I'll have to go to school, and then I will edit it and put it out there for you guys. So, why this video is so hard to film is not because I didn't dislike or love the season, but it's because this is it for Cobra Kai, and that the fact that just this show's done a lot for me in my life. I'll make a whole tribute video just talking about this show and what it's done. So I'll save it. I'll save all my emotional stuff for that. But either way, this show's tough. This show's tough to review right now, just because this is it. We will never see most of these characters ever again, which is tough to grasp, I guess you could say. Daniel will probably see in the Karate Kid. Well, we will see in the Karate Kid in a few months, but that's really it. So I guess we just get started with the review. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm only reviewing Part 3. I'm not reviewing Part 1 or Part 2, just simply Part 3. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Right when the season came out, I just went off of a live stream. It was a very fun live stream. We had, I think, 900 people by the end. It was pretty awesome. I had a whole lot of fun with that. But after it came out, I sat there just on this chair for a while, and I did not start it immediately. I probably sat there. I got off the call which I was on the stream with Noah. I got off that, and man, I just sat there just debating if I wanted to watch it. And I'm obviously so excited for Season 6, Part 3. I love Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai's my favorite show ever. But that wasn't why I wanted to not watch it. It was just knowing that once I started watching it, I won't stop watching it. And as soon as I start watching it, that'll be the last time. That'll be the last time we'll watch a new season. That'll be the last time we see all these characters. So it's pretty emotional for me. I love the show. I love what it's done. So let's just get into the review. I mean, first episode was just a build up, and I didn't think there was going to be a build up episode like this. I just thought with all of this, just with all of the stuff that needs to happen to wrap up Cobra Kai, I just did not see there being a setup episode. I thought they'd dive straight into the Sekai, not straight into it, but I guess develop more storylines, or at least like the first episode really was a build-up. And I have no problems with episode 11. I think it was a great episode. I just did not see an episode like that coming. It could have been cut out, but honestly, it was not a bad. I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I'm saying there's a lot of build-up, and I just did not see it happening with all the storylines that needed to be wrapped up. But is what it is. And by the way, I want to make this clear. When I do spoiler reviews, I do not talk in order. I'm going everywhere. I'm going off script. I'm not like on Netflix right now, scrolling through all the scenes. I may miss something, but I don't care because I want to go like full off script, just off the gun. Like that's just how I like filming these videos, to be honest. So I'm gonna just dive straight into Sekai Taikai. That Miguel and Axel fight was beautiful. And of course, Miguel ended up winning and not Robbie, which I still have certain opinions about. Just because I love Robbie, and he as a character, he never won an All Valley. He never won a Sekai Taikai, obviously, but he never won anything that big. And then, of course, Axel injures him upon Sensei Wolf's request. So then Axel's getting taken out, then Robbie's getting taken out, and then that sparks Miguel joining back Cobra Kai, Johnny taking over Cobra Kai, that entire storyline. But I'm happy for Miguel, and either way, if Miguel or Robbie lost, I would have felt bad for their other person, but I think they did Robbie's character just with his new career, him and Tori's new career. I think that was a cool storyline that they added to really end off their characters, because of course both of them aren't going to college, but as they could be like some athlete, whatever you call it. Just overall, that Miguel Axel fight was one of the it was one of maybe the best on mat fight we saw in Cobra Kai. It was very interesting. I love like the flashbacks that they showed throughout the fight. I love that they did that throughout like the entire like last 3 episodes. They showed flashbacks, going over things. I thought that was really, really cool, and really special, honestly. And that's the feel that kind of made it feel like that's it. Like these are the final episodes. That kind of gave it that kind of feeling. But yeah, the Miguel Axel fight was awesome. That was really cool how they did all that. I thought Miguel was going to do like the crane kick or something. And then I thought Johnny was going to do the crane kick at one point. Kind of disappointed we never got the crane kick. But we did get, and I called this like a year and a half ago, that we're going to see You're the Best by Joe Esposito. That's like the iconic You're the Best around. And it was never featured in Cobra Kai up to this point. And they played it in the last episode, which was so sick. And I made like a YouTube short about it. I remember that. Yeah, that was awesome. Hearing You're the Best by Joe Esposito. Just saving that for like 6 seasons to play like the most iconic Karate Kid song, or song in the Karate Kid soundtrack. Really cool. I guess, after that Axel fight, we could talk about the Tori and Zara fight, because Sam steps down. I mean, that fight was awesome as well. It was cool how much Tori beat her. Like, I thought Tori was going to win, obviously, but like all the other matches were close. But then Tori's getting destroyed at first, but then she just beats Zara by 20 points and gives them an actual chance to win the Sekai Taikai. And that fight was really cool. I love both of those characters. I mean, Tori, has been there for a few years now. So you're really attached to her character and what she brought to the overall storyline. And to see her succeed at a high level was really cool. To see her win the Sekai Taikai with no refs involved, nothing like that. It was really cool. So then we got, Miguel and Tori winning for Johnny's Cobra Kai as the Sekai Taikai, but that ties it, which leads to a Sensei bracket, which not bracket, but that led to a tie, and the tie was Johnny versus Sensei Wolf. And that storyline, I actually loved it so much. So it's best of 3. Sensei Wolf goes up 2-0, and then Johnny wins the last 3 points to come back. But the coolest part was Daniel being Johnny Sensei. That was really cool to me. But I think because I said this in the countdown stream that we did, and I think part 3 proved it even more. There are a lot of main characters to Cobra Kai. If you had to pick 2, it'd be Johnny and Daniel, no debate. But if you had to pick one, it's Johnny 100%. And we saw that especially through these last 3 episodes or so, as we see him take over as, the fighter, and then Daniel's the sensei. So all that was really, really neat to see Daniel, teach Johnny, he first teaches him to, in a Cobra Kai way, aggressive. And then the last time out that he uses, he tells him to have balance too. And Johnny, unlike what he did in the Karate Kid, he didn't go straight for him, but he held back, waited for Sensei Wolf to come to him, and got the point, won the Sekai Taikai for everyone. I do think it was cool how they showed Sensei Wolf give his respect at the end. I thought that was very cool. Something cool that they put into that. to show that he's not just a terrible dude. I mean, he's a bad guy, but not necessarily. He has respect, like Johnny did in the Karate Kid when he went, "You're all right, LaRusso," and we saw that call back too when Daniel said, "You're all right, Lawrence." That was cool. And to see Johnny win that was really special. I don't know how realistic it is, but it was still cool at the end of the day to see a 50-year-old man win the Sekai Taikai. So that was really cool. Another thing that I found interesting was the fact that Axel, of course, Sensei Wolf was telling him to kind of play dirty and go after Miguel's spine because of his spine injury that he had against Robbie in season 2, and he fell off the staircase and all that. So I mean, that was an unexpected storyline. I mean, I thought Axel would have some type of redemption because he didn't seem all bad like Zara did, and we saw that because he plays dirty on Robbie. He just freaking shatters Robbie's knee. But Miguel, he has the opportunity to just kill his spine, play dirty, but he doesn't take the opportunity. He plays fair, and he loses. So I thought that was a really cool ending for Axel's character. Of course, he's a newer character, but I thought his storyline ended in the proper way. I wish they found a way to, I don't know, to get him. I don't know, to get him a little better of an ending. I mean, yeah, he breaks off from Sensei Wolf, which is great, but he still ended up alone. So that is what it is. So with the Sekai Taikai, I was the main thing I want to talk about at first. Now we'll talk about individual characters for a bit. And the guy I want to talk about one of the most is because I love John, Josh, and Hayden, and I love Cobra Kai, but oh man, did they do Hawk dirty. He fell off so hard after season 4. Season 4, Hawk had a great season. He won the All Valley. He had a great season. But after season 4, Hawk's character just went downhill after that. I mean, so far downhill. Season 5, we was a down year for him, but I thought, okay, season 6 is gonna be a bigger season. He goes down, it's gonna bounce back up, and then he gets barely any screen time in both parts. I'm like, okay, that's all right. Well, maybe part 3, with the last 5 episodes, they're gonna give my boy Hawk some justice and give him a ton of screen time to end off his character. And what do? They absolutely do not do that. He gets the least amount of screen time, I believe, from the first 2 parts. And this was so disrespectful to me, in my opinion, just because of how of an iconic character and how of a beloved character Hawk has become. Season 1, 2, 3, 4, he had an incredible storyline with at least good amount of screen time, and then 5 and 6, he had absolutely nothing, which was really disappointing because Hawk's a great character. Hawk's not my favorite character or anything, but you got to defend him when he is not justified like that. I did think it was cool how Dimitri and Hawk both get into Caltech, and they don't end up going to MIT. So they still are going to college together. We saw that at the very end. That was the last time we saw those 2 characters, which is cool. They're going off to college together. And then the last time we saw Sam and Miguel was hugging the airport as they both go to Okinawa. That did not seem like a perfect ending to me. Just how Miguel's gonna be at Stanford and Sam's gonna be at Okinawa. It does and it kind of sounded like they weren't gonna stay together for a second, but obviously they will. But it's gonna be a long distance relationship until they're out of college. It's 4 years, which in real life that doesn't recover too well, but in the movies, I'm sure it will. So, but I liked the last scene was them in the airport together, both in Miguel showing support by not going to Stanford for a little bit and visiting and getting Sam ready for Okinawa. So that was very cool. Chosen's ending. Man, I thought it was going to end with Kumiko. I thought he was going to end up with Kumiko, and Kim Da-eun was going to be like a short stint. But I don't know what happened. And oh man, I really wanted him to end up with Kumiko because I thought that made sense, because what he did to her and Daniel in the Karate Kid 2 was bad. Obviously he's the evil, bad character in that, but his ending, he ended up with Kim Da-eun going back to Korea to team up with her. I think doesn't Chosen have his own students in Okinawa? Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they'll combine dojos or something. And Chosen can, be with Kim Da-eun, I guess, and train their students for the rest of their lives, I guess. Which I thought, I guess that's cool for him. I think that's a pretty good storyline for Chosen, at least. Now let's talk about Terry Silver and John Kreese, two of some of the best villains in TV show history. Now, I'm not going to pretend and act like Cobra Kai is the best TV show ever made, because I know it's not. To me, it's my favorite Cobra Kai. It's my favorite TV show of all time is Cobra Kai, and it's on another mile than anything else. I'm not the biggest pop culture guy, to be honest, but from the shows I've watched, Cobra Kai is far better than anything else. And as I said earlier, it's done so much for me in my life, so obviously going to be some bias there. But spreading all of pop culture, Kreese and Silver are two of some of the best villains I've ever seen. Not like the best, but some of the best. Silver may be the best, but these two characters, I really, really wanted to have a perfect ending. And I'm not going to say their ending was perfect, but I will say it was truly great. What I've been saying, and I've been saying this for like 3 years now, since before season 5 came out, Kreese's ending needs to be a sacrifice for Johnny or Daniel too. But it was, and that's exactly what it was. And I'm so happy was that, Kreese sneaks onto Silver's yacht or whatever, and takes out. I can't remember his name. My apology. You guys know what I'm talking about. Dennis. And he takes him out, throws him down. Silver comes up onto the boat and sees Kreese there smoking a cigar for one last time, and then they go to fight. The last line of them was like "No mercy." That was pretty corny. I'm not gonna lie, but it's exactly what I wanted. And I was saying this was gonna happen for like 4 years now, though, because I was saying that even before season 4, because because I remember reading after I first watched Cobra Kai, the only reason Martin Kove signed on to Cobra Kai was to make sure Kreese got redeemed, and that's exactly what happened. Kreese was still evil. He was still evil in part when even part 1 started. He was still evil. There was still evil in him by the time he died, and he accepted that. I think that's one of the reasons why he was so evil, was because he didn't think he was evil. He thought he was good. And then when he accepted that and found out, hey, I was evil, he goes on the yacht, the oil spills everywhere, and then he throws his cigar one last time as Silver's got him in like a chokehold, sacrificing himself, protecting Johnny, Carmen, and their baby. And the boat blows up and they both die, as well as Dennis. And he takes Silver out one last time. And then we see two of some of the best characters in TV show history, in cinema history, die at the hands of one another. But it was a Kreese sacrifice. Silver was obviously going to die in 6 months, but Kreese probably didn't have too much time left in him either, especially being on the run from the cops. It was a perfect ending to his character, sacrifice for Johnny. The only thing I wish they did was that I wish they delayed it a little bit. I wish Kreese knew that Johnny won the Sekai Taikai, because Kreese always knew Johnny was a winner. And as Silver said, Johnny was always your weakness. And Kreese said Johnny was always my strength. And that is true. in that, and that's what it showed at the end of the day. Because if Johnny was his weakness, he wouldn't sacrifice himself. Well, in a way he would, but not in this way, like how he did. It really showed that Johnny was his strength. And, Kreese apologizing to Johnny too and letting him take back over Cobra Kai. That was all really cool. And yeah, I mean, that's the end of Kreese's character. I think it's the end of a lot of characters. I do believe they'll do a Cobra Kai spinoff. I don't know when that'll happen. I don't know if it'll be, a few years, if it'll be ever. But I do think it will happen eventually. And I don't think it'll follow all the traditional characters necessarily. But maybe like in 10, 15 years, they pick up Cobra Kai again and they do some reboot shenanigans. I don't know. That'd be cool though. But to see, back to what I was saying though, I wish they delayed it a little bit to know that Kreese was right about Johnny. Johnny was always a winner, and he won the Sekai Taikai. And I wish Johnny knew that Kreese died for him. Kreese died for his family, and protecting him. I wish that was included into it. I don't know how, but that would have been really cool. Now I'm talking about the very last scene, which I thought the very last scene was going to be, what was it? Johnny smiling in the dojo, and then the Cobra Kai logo appears, but then it cuts to like an end credit scene kind of, and it showed it showed John, Josh, and Hayden, the three creators of Cobra Kai, which was really cool that they included. Well, it was really John and Josh, because Hayden had already been featured as a lawyer, so it kind of just showed them two, but you could hear Hayden's voice, I think. But it was really cool seeing them talk about, pitching a Cobra Kai show, and then it cuts to Daniel and Johnny in their last scene together. And, we see the reference back to the fly, and he's doing the chopsticks, and then Johnny's coming and slaps the fly. It was a perfect ending. Right when I saw that ending, actually, I thought it was going to be like, this is going to set up the stupid Karate Kid Legends movie. And thank goodness it didn't. It didn't set up Karate Kid Legends at all, which I appreciate, because I'm not a big fan of that movie. I will be covering that movie, by the way, a lot. So stay tuned for all that stuff. But maybe I'll get excited for it. I don't know. It just kind of stinks because I thought this was a good ending for LaRusso. What other endings? I guess, I liked that Johnny named his kid Lucille after his mother. I thought that was very cool. I thought the wedding was kind of rushed. I thought it'd been cool to have like a real wedding instead of just at the hospital and have Bobby officiate, or whatever you call it. But it was cool that they included Bobby. I wish it was cool to have him featured in it at the end. I did think with that Sensei Wolf Johnny fight, it was cool if they had like the pawn shop guy and the general store guy to watch, both of them watching Johnny's fight together. That was really funny. Because those were, some season 1 characters, just to see them two cheer on Johnny. That was actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, we see Kim Da-eun kill her grandfather, Kim Sung-young. This dude should already be dead, but about darn times he dies. And it's to the hands of Kim Da-eun, which she ended up having a redemption arc. She got introduced in season 5, and then in the part 3 of season 6, finally got her redemption arc. She was never like a pure evil character. She was not a good character. She was always, but I think she had a cool redemption, and she's going to shape this like Korean Cobra Kai with Chosen into a better Cobra Kai. And I thought that was cool. And, killing Kim Sung-young was honestly a big part of doing that, because, how he was handling things was not appropriate to how she wanted to handle it. And, I've been hearing, that could be a spinoff of her and Chosen. I wouldn't blame it if that happens, but yeah. And then the other last scene I wanted to talk about, which I thought was going to be the last scene until they had the end credit scene, but it's of Johnny in the OG Cobra Kai dojo, And I loved it so much, man. We saw Kenny, Devin, and Anthony. They're the new generation, but then you see the even newer generation of students, and it just gives you season 1 vibes all over again, or season 1, season 2. No, it gives you kind of more season 2 vibes, honestly. After they won the All Valley, they're getting all these students, and we see Chris and Mitch and Tori and all these new students. But then now that generation's passed, that generation has moved on. They're all going to college. Robbie, Tori, everyone that's been through Cobra Kai has been in and out, and now it's the new generation. It's now led by Devin, Kenny, and Anthony, and then now all the new fresh faces for Johnny to bully. I thought that was really funny, but it really did give you OG Cobra Kai vibes back, which is really cool. And now Johnny's going to teach the next generation, and it'll never. And Johnny knows there will never be another Miguel, and there will never be, something as special as what that Cobra Kai was going to be like. But, to see him live out his dream as, getting a house, a family, having, 2 successful kids, one going to Stanford, one doing an athlete apparel or whatever he's doing, promotion or whatever. So 2 successful sons, and then a daughter, a wife, a house, and Yaya. So, I thought Johnny's ending was very deserved. And, I thought he had one of the best endings of any character. Daniel's ending was really cool. He overcame, Silver. He didn't have the arc that I wanted him to have in season 6, which I didn't even know what that arc was. He had such an amazing arc in season 5. So I'm like, season 5 was more focused on Daniel, and season 6 was more on Johnny. So I'll accept that. But I did want to see Daniel have one more final arc. I guess he did have the arc with Mr. Miyagi, and I love that they didn't make Mr. Miyagi the guy that killed that guard. That was really cool. Well, he fought him, but it was out of because he stole. So I thought that was really cool, and how Sam got that necklace. That was a cool storyline. That was unexpected. I like how they delivered that and ended Mr. Miyagi's storyline. Speaking of Mr. Miyagi, we did see another animation thing of him, which did not impress me all that much. As much as I love Mr. Miyagi, the only person that should ever play Mr. Miyagi, at least that version of Mr. Miyagi, I'm okay with the younger version of Mr. Miyagi being portrayed, but if anyone is going to portray that version of Mr. Miyagi, it should be Pat Morita. And with Pat Morita being passed away, unfortunately, a while ago, Mr. Miyagi should never be played again, at least that version of him. And we saw it twice this season, which I'm not a big fan of it. At least, in part 2, we saw a little. Wait, was it part 2 or part 1? I can't remember, but it was I think it was part 2. Wait, was it part 2? I don't know. It was part 1 or part 2. I'm too tired, man. I pulled an all-nighter. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It is what it is. It was cool seeing Daniel and Miyagi fight together one more time. I guess was kind of cool, but nobody should play Mr. Miyagi but Pat Morita, and the AI didn't even look that good, or not the AI, the animation did not even look that good, to be honest. Just being real, but I'm not gonna hate on that for too long. It wasn't the end of the world. But it's definitely worth pointing out, just because I wasn't a big fan of it. I think Pat Morita should be the only one to ever play Mr. Miyagi. Well, as I said again, that version of Mr. Miyagi. One topic that I wanted to talk about in this video that I thought was important, that I'll make a whole separate video discussing, is, was season 5 the proper ending? And to be honest, I think so. Now, I don't mean just season 5. You end it there because there's obviously storylines that had to be made. But I think if you cut up the Sekai Taikai, you kind of place Johnny's arc overlapping with Daniel's arc. Not overlapping, but you get Daniel's arc at the start of season 5 and Johnny's at the end. Maybe make it a 15 episode season 5. But how Johnny, crane kicked Silver to end Silver for now. That just felt like the ending. That felt like the ending the writers wanted. Season 6 was not bad whatsoever. But since season 5 came out, I said I'm a little worried because that seemed like the ending. And to be honest, it felt like that should have been the ending. As much as I loved a lot of parts of season 6, but it was not as good as the other seasons of Cobra Kai. To be quite honest with you, it didn't have as deep of storyline as others did. But I will always love Cobra Kai. I'll always love a new Cobra Kai season. So I appreciate it. But I'll make a full-length video discussing exactly that topic. What was season 5? Should have it been the last season? And in my opinion, I think so. But I'll make a full breakdown on that. And I'm not saying season 5 should just like been it right there. Obviously, I had to put in other storylines, and I felt like that time could have been a better way to wrap up more storylines, including like Hawks, as I mentioned earlier, Dimitri's, or other characters like that. And one dude that I want to talk about that may have had the biggest fall off ever, and actually, okay, not as big as Hawks because he never peaked as high as Hawk, but my boy Kenny. Did he have a single line in part 3? Oh my gosh. Of course he was present, but oh my gosh. The dude did not have a single line after having a great arc in season 4 and then built off of that in season 5 and then have a redemption in part 1. And then part 2, we see him get fully embarrassed. Wait, no, that's part 1 still. He gets redeemed, has an embarrassing moment, and then gets gets built up as a real character, has a cool win in part 2. And then part 3, they don't give a crap about Kenny, apparently, because Kenny does not have a single line. Kenny doesn't do a single dang thing the entire season that built anything, which is so disappointing because I love Kenny. I loved his character. I loved his arc. I loved how he started out as a sweet kid, got bullied, turned to Cobra Kai because of Robbie. And then, Robbie came back at him. And then, I don't know, man, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right how they treated him at the end of that. And I'd give it well, that's not an embarrassing way to end this video at all. But as I was saying before my camera died, I apologize for that. I give this part an 8 out of 10. It was a great part. It was the best part of season 6. And overall, season 6 was not my favorite season, but the part 3, it came in, it did what it needed to do. It wrapped up most of the storylines in a good way. But I have so much more to talk about with Cobra Kai, which is why I'll be doing a spoiler live stream in the next few days. One spoiler live, not just one review live stream, just discussing it with all of you guys, but multiple. I'll be doing one the day I post this video, a bunch over the weekend. As it's President's Day weekend, so we've got a lot of days here. So loads of content coming soon. Make sure to subscribe to the notification bell on, and of course, a bunch of live streams coming soon to discuss with all of you guys. So subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and all you guys wondering what's going to happen with the future of my channel, I'll make a video about that. So lots of stuff to come soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.